Backer.
It's Zimmer.
Zimmer's there, so
it's a defensive player.
Who's hovering in the war room?
Linebacker guy, maybe, please.
Is there a linebacker coach in there?
Well, Zimmer, I mean, he's the coordinator.
I mean, what like linebacker here? Yeah, I mean,
if Al Harris were in there, I'd think maybe it's TJ Tampa.
Corners of thought. You could also look at Kalen Carson out of Wake Forest.
Oh, I like Kalen.
I like him. I like him a lot. Yeah.
Carson's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for Al Harris, Scott McCurley, or Greg Ellis.
Because Ellis came in and talked with Nealand.
Or Gunther. I think Gunther could maybe indicate that it's a linebacker, right?
If it's a linebacker, I mean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is still there. Cedric Gray's there.
Linebackers, I had just recently, I think linebacker here, Wilson, you got to be comfortable with the medicals. Otherwise, I think I'm looking at Liufau or Gray here, Cedric Gray.
Liufau, the Notre Dame linebacker. Yeah. I mean, I love Cedric Gray. Liufau would be interesting out of Notre Dame.
Is this too early for one of these guys that we've heard them connected with? Like, do they really love Watson?
They talked with Liufau, didn't they, out of Notre Dame, Nick?
Yeah, that was a 30.
So that's a guy that they're interested in.
There was a lot of 30s in the linebacker group. You had Peyton Wilson, that was a 30.
Yeah.
Jalen Ford was in. Nathaniel Watson was in. So I feel like there's a way to get a linebacker there on day 3. I don't understand, unless they feel really good about a running back on day 3. I don't understand not getting one here.
Yeah,
that's a linebacker coach right there. That's the line. The
okay,
line.
So
yeah,
it is.
So it's a linebacker. Yeah, that was
McCurley. That's McCurley.
Okay, so maybe Peyton Wilson, but if medicals aren't there,
Peyton Wilson would be.
If they took Peyton Wilson, that would be so exciting.
Give me if Peyton Wilson, if the medicals aren't right, give me Liufau or Cedric Gray.
Yeah, I'd be Team Gray, but
I'd go Gray.
Liufau is also they like him.
Gosh, Gray. There's a lot to like about Gray. Liufau to me that's hair on fire. That's a guy who's he's going to bring edge. He's going to bring energy. That's somebody who plays with a really high football IQ. I mean,
the awareness, right? And that's something we've talked about a lot. They need to get linebackers that play with awareness. He certainly is that guy that's left on the board here for me. He might be. And I love Cedric Gray. I think I would lean, obviously, if you're not talking Peyton Wilson, just for awareness purposes, I would absolutely lean with Liufau.
I would lean Marist Liufau, just because, like you just mentioned, it's the attitude, man. It's the temperament and just the way he's okay with coming downhill. That's really what I'm looking for. But he also too can rush the passer, so he brings you some of that as well. And I literally have written down hair on fire. The motor just don't stop. But he does have instincts in the passing game and coverage that I thought could develop, could get a little bit better. Just an active player. So yeah.
What do you like more about Gray, Brian?
I've got him higher. I mean, everything you guys.
I've got him higher too.
Everything you're saying about the Notre Dame player is fine. I probably have him around too low for if that's the consideration right now. But Gray, you know me, I want Wilson so bad. I mean, but if they're talking linebacker, I'm going to get my heart broken here just in a second. But with let me see, inside linebackers here, Brian, trying to get to the right spot if you can.
I mean, you have got Gray in the 3rd round. I think this would be a great spot for him. He's more athletic. I mean, if you're judging between him and Liufau, I think Gray is the better athlete.
Yeah, he's a tough. I mean, for a team looking for a tough inside linebacker who's got some pass rush skills, I think he's got some instinctive reactions. I think when it comes to locating the ball, the packs a punch, delivers a blow. There's a real physical side to his game. The quickness to work around blockers in order to get to the ball. Strength allows him to hold up in the line against bigger blockers. I saw that a couple of different times. Competitiveness, I mean, he'll knock the ball away. He's got a nose for the ball. He's going to make his share of plays due to his instinct and desire to finish. I think this guy's a really good player.
You're talking about who?
I'm talking about Gray.
Oh, okay, because I thought you were talking about Marist.
Well, the Cowboys War Room is ready to watch the pick be announced. They seem thrilled. We do believe it's a linebacker based on the War Room cam. Which linebacker it is, we will find out here in just a moment. The question will be, though, as we move into tomorrow, assuming they don't try and trade back into the 3rd round, if it's not a running back, which we don't think it is, what are they going to do at running back? I mean, can you wait until your next pick in the 5th round?
They have shown so far, the league has told you can wait because they're just not coming off the board, really.
Yeah, they're not. So pick 171 unless you jump back in or sign Ezekiel Elliott.
All right, pick 87. Here's the Cowboys selection.
Right. Why not both?
For giving me this opportunity to represent them tonight. But I'm going to defer this honor to my son Chase to announce the 3rd round draft selection.
All
Chase.
right, here we go. With the 87th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Marist Liufau, linebacker, Notre Dame.
Yeah, this is a fun player to study because of how they use him. They'll use him.
Marist Liufau out of Notre Dame, 6'2",
rush off the edge a little bit on third.
And we talked about it: instincts, awareness. Certainly a guy that just plays with some reckless abandon, sideline to sideline ability. And I think he is a solid cover guy. I mean, he certainly works well in zone. What do you guys think overall about Liufau?
I think he's a bit raw in how he plays, but I do think that they're looking at traits and some of the things that he can bring. I think a lot of it has to do with the temperament of the player and what you're trying to have in that linebacker room moving forward. I don't know how many times I've heard Bobby mention, like, hey, we want somebody that's reactive, gonna go. Sometimes they're not gonna always be right, but hey, listen, you want them to be certain and go downhill. And so this is something that I think he does well. For me, a lot of it has to do with his temperament.
Yeah, this is a funny one because this is the very first player I talked about on the draft show way back in January. It was a couple days after the playoff loss. I don't even think anybody was watching at that point. But nevertheless, Marist Liufau, he comes out of Punahou High School in the northern part of Honolulu, there on the main island in Oahu. He's coming from a pipeline from Hawaii linebackers to Notre Dame that really started with Manti Te'o, and it's continuing to happen for the Fighting Irish. It's becoming a tradition for them even, and they've kind of built a brotherhood. He's the cousin of Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua. He's got a lot of cousins that are in the NFL. Now, him as a player, he started more as a rover in high school, a guy that was had more safety ability, which is interesting because most of these Polynesian linebackers that have come from Hawaii and gone to Notre Dame or anywhere else in general have been more wide set, run-stopping guys. But he's been able to kind of hone in on those traits in South Bend, and he's got a little bit of those kind of tendencies. However, I think him blitzing into the backfield, I think this is a very interesting part of Marist Liufau and what he could bring to the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's a guy that can come in on third down to potentially rotate in and go attack the quarterback in a situation. I think this is a fun, athletic pick. It is very clear out of these first 2 days that they are going after athletic players. You look at Marshawn Kneeland, you look at Marist Liufau, at least for Mike Zimmer's defense, that's what I'm taking away with right now.
I mean, I look at Liufau, and to me, there is a lot to really, really like about it. Like I said, if we're going to sit here and pick a linebacker, if there's problems with Peyton Wilson's medicals, to me it was Liufau or Gray. And when you look at Liufau, you're looking at, especially in today's NFL with linebackers getting a little lighter, little bit more prototype size, a guy who plays with a ton of intensity, hair on fire. To me, he is similar in ways to Edgerrin Cooper, like just a guy who I don't like, the same sort of stuff that pops on Cooper's tape in terms of the intensity and the recognition and the aggressiveness. It's all there. The one area where he's probably below Cooper, I think, is just that Cooper seems to read it and recognize it a little faster. Whereas Liufau is a little bit more instinctual and just go attack it, and occasionally is a little over aggressive and it causes some issues. But I think if you can get him to play, I think it's obvious when you watch him, he recognizes a lot of stuff really quickly. Yes. I think he's a good tape study just from watching the way he plays the game. I think this is somebody who can cover the more athletic linebacker or the more athletic tight ends and running backs in the league. This is a really good pick to me. I like Liufau a lot.
I do too. I can't remember. Was he at the Shrine Bowl?
He was a Shrine Bowl guy.
Okay, so I heard guys when we got to go into talk to the players. I heard players mentioning that he was calling out the plays as they were happening. Like he's kind of what people were talking about with Peyton Wilson at the Senior Bowl. They said that he had that same energy of the recognition, like you said, Bobby, and some of the processing pre-snap as well. So that's another thing. Yeah,
I mean, to me, you bring up Edgerrin Cooper. I can see some of the things that you're saying there. I think Liufau is a better cover guy, personally, than what Cooper is.
Yeah, I agree. It's the rover safety background that he has.
He's not a guy that I think is going to be a liability when you have to play him in coverage. It makes him a three-down player. And I think he can gain a lot from playing with Eric Kendricks.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, this is a guy that I think eventually will be the dude who wears the green dot, and he's your captain of the defense.
He didn't take any false steps when he plays.
No.
That's the thing I like about him.
Running back.
Yeah,
Is
okay,
anybody
so
scared
just to
here?
reset, and I'm sure we'll get Liufau.
Marshawn.
Yeah, Marshawn Lloyd went off the board.
He just went right behind Dallas.
Marshawn
Green
Lloyd,
Bay.
USC, just went to Green Bay. And Tyke Smith.
Yeah, this is making me mad. I don't know why Jaden Hicks isn't going.
Out of Georgia. Yeah,
Well,
I don't.
what is up with Jaden Hicks?
And I like Tyke Smith, but I thought he would be a day 3 guy.
Yeah, is this a medical concern?
And
I haven't
something's
had anything
got to be up.
I'm asking around, but I've not had anything medical come up.
Marshawn Lloyd, though, very good player at USC. And Brian, I like Marshawn Lloyd. I like Jalen Wright more. I know you had Marshawn Lloyd graded pretty high.
Yeah, I did. And the thing I really liked about him is, man, I saw a guy that made people miss. And he's a shorter guy, but he's got some width to him when you watch him run. But he's an explosive player, and to me, he was a transfer from South Carolina. He tore his ACL in 2020, but he's got some explosive traits. He's got a burst. He's got acceleration. He can get to and through the hole in a hurry. He can bounce it to the outside without any issues. He could kick it into top gear instantly. The speed to break away, finish long runs. He might not have the ideal height as a back, but the bulk, the strength, the explosiveness make him an outstanding prospect. I think he could score from anywhere on the field.
It looks like they're not interested in going running back anytime soon because you don't got a 4th. So are there any 5th-round guys that y'all feel comfortable grabbing?
Zach, you were able to get Cooper Beebe. Can we start manifesting Isaiah Davis out of South Dakota State for me?
I'm okay with that.
All right.
I'll share some love with you because there's no way my guy Jalen Wright's going to make it.
Do you guys have the list? Who did real quick, did Arizona take somebody at 9?
Arizona took Elijah Jones, the cornerback from Boston College.
I really like that player.
Wow.
I really like that player. I think him and Marco Wilson are actually fairly similar there.
Yeah, that's a 3-year starter, 6'2", 185. What do you like about Elijah Jones there? Because you're right, Nick. In a deep corner group, we probably didn't talk about him at all.
Yeah, he's got length. I was watching that Fenway Bowl that was just rainy and muddy and nasty as hell that they were playing against SMU. It was like at 11 a.m. and it looked like it was 7 p.m. outside. It was so dark because it was so muddy and rainy. But he was standing out with his physicality. In a game that physicality was going to win, he was the one that was doing it. Pressing off the line, length, being able to cover downfield. Even though he has maybe a taller frame with longer legs, he can still he has great footwork and change of direction that works downfield. I think he's a 3-level cover guy that can work in all situations. Really like that pick by Arizona.
Yeah, not afraid to get his nose dirty. I thought that he plays really under control as well, and he's very fast. But the way that he's able to hone in on that and still be able to stay in guys' hip pocket was impressive. I will say I was creeping on the Boston College folks
You were
podcast. Creep. I was creeping on them, and I guess he did have somewhat of a suspension or something towards the end of the year. So again, that's something to look into. But other than that, like the player is a player.
Okay, we still have Green Bay back on the clock after they just took Marshawn Lloyd at 88. I'm sure we will get Liufau on the phone here very, very soon.
Okay.
Quick note on Liufau.
Yeah, give it to us.
0 touchdowns allowed in coverage since 2022 on 443 coverage snaps via PFF.
Telling you, that dude can cover. That's not surprising.